Admiral Isabella Santos stood at the viewport of the TSS Inevitable, watching the crystalline spires of the Galactic Council headquarters shimmer against the azure atmosphere of Centaurus Prime. Her reflection showed the same stern expression she'd worn since receiving news of the Proxima Colony massacre. 15,000 civilians. Gone. The ship's AI chirped softly. Admiral, the Council chamber is ready to receive you. Thank you, Arya. Santos straightened her midnight blue uniform, the silver insignia of Earth's combined fleet catching the light. Any last-minute intelligence? The Valari delegation has been unusually active in closed-door meetings. The Arxians remain suspiciously quiet. Santos nodded. The Valari, one of the eldest spacefaring races, had always viewed humanity's rapid expansion with barely concealed disdain. But lately, their diplomatic maneuvers had taken on a darker tone. The transport pod carried her swiftly through the Council's sprawling complex. Unlike many human representatives before her, Santos didn't marvel at the architectural achievements of the elder races. Today, she saw only the elaborate facade hiding centuries of political manipulation. The Council chamber itself was a masterpiece of bioengineering, a living structure that adapted to the environmental needs of each species present. As Santos entered, she noted the subtle shift in atmosphere pressure, the slight adjustment in gravity. Small comforts that suddenly felt like patronizing gestures. High Counselor Zyx Tau, a towering figure of swirling plasma contained within an environmental suit, addressed her first. Admiral Santos, you requested this emergency session. The Council recognizes Earth's right to petition, but we must express concern over the militant nature of your recent communications. Santos approached the central podium, her steps measured. The chamber's perfect acoustics carried her voice to every corner. High Counselor, distinguished representatives, I stand before you not to petition, but to inform. A murmur rippled through the assembled delegates. The Valari representative, Ambassador Thelora, shifted in her crystalline form. Inform us of what, precisely? Santos activated her neural link, projecting images above the chamber floor. The devastation of Proxima Colony played out in stark detail, burning habitats, shattered dome structures, bodies floating in the vacuum. This is the 7th attack on human colonies in 3 months. Each strike precisely targeted civilian infrastructure. Each attack left no survivors. Tragic, Zyx plasma form flickered, but surely you understand that the outer regions are difficult to police. Pirates and raiders dash. We're using military-grade weapons registered to Valari Defense Forces, Santos cut in, her voice sharp. The chamber erupted in shocked whispers. And supported by Arxian stealth technology. Ambassador Thelora's crystalline form chimed in agitation. These are serious accusations, Admiral. Where is your proof? Santos's smile was cold. Interesting that you would ask for proof before I presented any evidence of Valari involvement. She switched the projection to display recovery data, weapon signatures, energy readings, fragments of ships. We've been gathering evidence for months. The attacks were coordinated, methodical, and supported by resources that only Council races could provide. Even if these allegations have merit, a Nexarian delegate chittered, what do you expect the Council to do? These are complex matters requiring careful deliberation. We expected you to act when we first reported suspicious activities near our colonies, Santos interrupted. We expected support when we requested expanded patrol rights. We expected justice when we presented evidence of violations against the Colonial Protection Treaty. Her voice carried centuries of human frustration. Instead, we received lectures about patience, about proper procedures, about knowing our place. The chamber temperature seemed to drop several degrees. High Counselor Zyx's plasma form contracted slightly. Admiral Santos, if you are suggesting that Council members deliberately targeted human settlements. I'm not suggesting anything, Santos stated flatly. I'm telling you what we know. And I'm informing you of humanity's response. She gestured, and new projections appeared, massive vessels emerging from hidden shipyards, weapons platforms deploying from what appeared to be peaceful research stations, entire fleets declaking near critical junctions of space. Humanity has been patient, Santos continued, her voice carrying an edge that made several delegates flinch. We played by your rules. We joined your committees. We filled out your forms in triplicate. And while we jumped through hoops, our people died. The Arxian representative, a being of pure energy, pulsed with concern. These military installations, they violate numerous treaties. Treaties that were already violated when you targeted our civilians, Santos countered. Humanity is done asking permission to defend itself. We are done pretending that the Council's bureaucracy is anything but a tool to maintain the elder race's dominance. This is unprecedented, Thalora chimed in alarm. You cannot simply dash. We can. We will. And we have. Santos's eyes swept the chamber. Humanity remained peaceful not because we were weak, but because we chose to be. That choice has been taken from us. She turned to leave, then paused. One final thing, we've deployed quantum-linked sensors throughout human space. Any further attacks on our colonies will trigger an immediate and overwhelming response. No more investigations. No more committees. No more debates. The silence in the chamber was absolute. Santos walked toward the exit, her voice carrying clearly over her shoulder. Humanity tried it your way. Now you get to try it ours. As the doors sealed behind her, Admiral Santos allowed herself a grim smile. The message had been delivered. Whether the Council accepted it or not was irrelevant. Humanity had finally shed its diplomatic chains, and the galaxy would never be the same. In the chamber behind her, the representatives of 100 spacefaring races faced an uncomfortable truth: they had pushed humanity too far, and now they would learn why Earth's history books were filled with tales of both great cooperation and terrible war. The age of human patience had ended. The age of consequences was about to begin. Commander Marcus Reeves moved silently through the abandoned Arxian research station, his quantum stealth suit adapting to the shadows. The station's emergency lighting cast an eerie purple glow across empty corridors that still bore scorch marks from the recent evacuation. Team 2 in position, Lieutenant Kira Patel's voice whispered through his neural link. No signs of active security, but we're detecting massive data transfers from the central core. They're burning the evidence, Reeves muttered. Team 3, status. Engineering level secured, came the response. Sir, you need to see this. They left something behind. Reeves moved swiftly through the station's levels, his enhanced senses alert for any traps. The Arxians weren't known for their combat prowess, but their technological sophistication made them dangerous in subtler ways. The engineering level opened into a vast chamber dominated by a holographic display showing hundreds of human colonies, each marked with detailed tactical analyses. Red markers indicated the colonies already destroyed. Yellow markers highlighted future targets. This isn't just strategic, Patel said, her dark eyes narrowing as she studied the display. They've been profiling our response patterns, analyzing our technology adoption rates, even modeling our psychological reactions to loss. Reeves accessed the station's remaining data streams, his neural implants processing the information faster than any conventional interface could manage. It's worse than that. Look at the timestamp on these files. They've been planning this for over 50 years. The data painted a disturbing picture. The Valari had provided the military hardware, the Arxians the stealth technology, but behind it all lay a coalition of elder races united by a single fear: humanity's potential. Sir, one of his team called out, you need to see these simulation models. The projections showed humanity's expansion rates, technological development, and cultural influence across the galaxy. Each model predicted the same outcome: within 3 centuries, humans would become the dominant species in known space. They couldn't accept it, Reeves said, understanding dawning. All their careful plans, their millennia of controlled development. Undone by a species that went from atmospheric flight to FTL travel in less than 2 centuries, Patel finished. But why attack civilians? Why not just restrict our expansion through the Council? Reeves pulled up another file, this one showing psychological warfare strategies. Because they needed to break us. Their models showed that humanity would eventually reject Council authority unless we were traumatized into submission. An alert flashed through their neural networks. Commander, multiple ships dropping out of FTL nearby. Signatures match Volari patrol cruisers. Download everything, Reeves ordered. Prepare for emergency extraction. He studied the tactical display, noting the approaching vessel's formation. They're not here by accident. Someone knew we'd find this place. As his team worked, Reeves accessed a secure quantum channel to Fleet Command. Admiral Santos needed to see this evidence immediately. The attacks weren't just about containing human expansion, they were part of a calculated effort to reshape humanity's very nature. The station's lights flickered as the first Volari warning shots passed nearby. Reeves smiled grimly. The elder races had spent decades analyzing human behavior, but they'd missed something crucial. Humanity's most dangerous moments came not from strength or technology, but from clarity. Data secured, Patel reported. But they're positioning to block our exit vector. Good thing we're not planning to leave that way, Reeves said. Execute Protocol Prometheus. Throughout the station, carefully planted quantum charges activated. Not to destroy, humanity had evolved beyond such crude responses, but to transmit. Every scrap of data, every hidden file, every classified communication began broadcasting on all frequencies, flooding the local space with evidence of the conspiracy. The Volari ships opened fire in earnest now, but they were too late. The truth was already spreading across human space, and with it, the last restraints on humanity's response were dissolving. All teams, prepare for Phase 2, Reeves commanded. Around the station, human stealth ships declared, revealing weapons that the elder races had believed impossible for humanity to develop. Sir, Patel said quietly, rules of engagement. Reeves thought of the countless civilians lost, the carefully orchestrated attempts to break humanity's spirit. The Council's rules no longer apply, Lieutenant. Show them why. The battle that followed would be remembered not for its destruction, but for its precision. Human ships disabled the Volari cruisers with targeted strikes that demonstrated not just superior technology, but a level of tactical control that the elder races had thought beyond humanity's capabilities. As Reeves watched the Volari ships go dark, their crews intact but their weapons and drives disabled, he received a priority message from Admiral Santos. The evidence they discovered had already reached Fleet Command, and humanity's response was beginning. All teams, mission accomplished, he announced. Return to base. The galaxy's about to learn why testing humanity's patience was their greatest mistake. As their ships vanished into FTL, leaving the disabled Volari fleet behind, Reeves reviewed the data one final time. The elder races had spent decades trying to prevent humanity's rise, never realizing that their very efforts would catalyze it. The conspiracy they'd uncovered would reshape galactic politics, but not in the way the elder races had intended. Humanity had survived countless challenges on Earth, evolving stronger with each trial. Now, faced with a galactic threat, they would do what they had always done, adapt, overcome, and emerge stronger than before. The age of submission was over. The time for revelation had begun. The Galactic Council's emergency session erupted into chaos as the evidence of the elder race's conspiracy spread across every quantum network in known space. Admiral Santos stood calmly at the center of the storm, watching the panicked reactions of those who had underestimated humanity for the last time. You hid weapons in your research stations, the Volari representative accused, her crystalline form vibrating with agitation. You developed technology in secret. Just as you hid your attacks behind pirate raids, Santos countered. The difference is, we did it to protect ourselves. You did it to destroy us. The chamber's displays showed real-time footage of human fleets emerging throughout the galaxy. Not from hidden bases or secret installations, but from within seemingly ordinary civilian stations and cargo vessels. Humanity had built its defensive network in plain sight, disguising warships as merchant vessels and weapons platforms as communication arrays. High Counselor Zewexdal's plasma form pulsed erratically. This level of deception, it violates every principle of galactic cooperation. No, Santos corrected. It proves we learn from history. Yours and ours. She gestured, and new images appeared, ancient conflicts from Earth's past, where seemingly overwhelming forces had been defeated by preparation, innovation, and the indomitable human spirit. The Arxian representative flared brightly. Your fleet movements, your positioning to strike at our core worlds. Wrong again, Santos smiled. We're positioning to protect yours. Confusion rippled through the chamber. On the displays, human ships took up defensive positions around key worlds belonging to both allies and enemies. Not as conquerors, but as guardians. Humanity isn't interested in revenge, Santos explained. We're interested in change. Real change. The kind that prevents any species from thinking they can eliminate another through bureaucracy and shadow wars. Commander Reeves's voice came through her neural link. Admiral, Phase 3 is complete. All positions secured. Excellent. Santos addressed the Council again. As of now, humanity is assuming responsibility for galactic security. Not through your committees or your treaties, but through direct action. You cannot simply dash, the Valari representative began. We can. We are. And you'll thank us for it. Santos's voice carried absolute certainty. Because while you were plotting to contain us, real threats were growing. Threats your precious council was too fractured to address. New data streamed into the chamber, evidence of aggressive species gathering beyond known space, of ancient dangers stirring in dark sectors that the council had chosen to ignore. Humanity didn't develop in secret because we feared you, Santos continued. We did it because we saw what you couldn't, that your system of control through bureaucracy was leaving the galaxy vulnerable. While you focused on containing us, we were preparing to protect everyone. The younger race's representatives started showing signs of understanding. The Navaran delegate, their bioluminescent patterns shifting thoughtfully, spoke up. You're offering protection without demanding submission. Exactly. Santos nodded. Earth's history taught us that true security comes not from dominance, but from mutual defense. We're not here to rule. We're here to guard. Screens throughout the chamber displayed human ships assisting with planetary defenses, sharing advanced shield technology, establishing new communication networks. Not taking control, but offering partnership. Your choice is simple, Santos declared. Continue fighting against humanity's rise and watch your influence fade, or join us in building something better. A galaxy where strength serves safety, not suppression. The Valari representative's crystalline form dimmed. And if we refuse? Then you'll discover that humanity's patience wasn't our only hidden quality, Santos replied quietly. We've shown you our defensive capabilities. Pray you never have to see our offensive ones. Throughout the galaxy, human ships maintained their positions, their presence both a warning and a promise. They had emerged not as conquerors, but as protectors, offering the elder races a choice between evolving or becoming irrelevant. The council chamber fell silent as the implications became clear. Humanity had not only survived the attempt to break them, they had transformed it into an opportunity to reshape galactic civilization itself. As the representatives began urgent discussions among themselves, Santos received another update from Reeves. More young races were pledging support to the human initiative. The balance of power was shifting, not through violence or domination, but through the simple demonstration of a better way. Times change, Santos addressed the council one final time. Species rise and fall. But principles, justice, protection, mutual growth, these endure. You tried to break us because you feared change. Instead, you'll remember this as the day humanity taught the galaxy how to evolve. The age of hidden strengths was over. The time for open guardianship had begun. The Navaran diplomatic vessel, Luminous Accord, glowed with shifting patterns of bioluminescence as it approached Earth's orbital command. First speaker Naira watched humanity's homeworld through compound eyes that could perceive spectrums beyond human vision. Even at this distance, she could see the intricate network of orbital defenses and civilian infrastructure that humans had built, not segregated as most species did, but integrated in a way that spoke volumes about their philosophy. Approaching docking coordinates, her pilot announced. Human defense grid is interesting. It's both scanning and protecting us simultaneously. Naira's patterns shifted to show approval. They guard even those they don't yet trust. Remember that. The meeting chamber aboard Earth's orbital command reflected humanity's practical nature. Where the Council favored grandiose displays of power, this room was designed for effectiveness. Admiral Santos and Commander Reeves were already present, along with representatives from 12 other younger races. First speaker Naira, Santos greeted her. Welcome to the first assembly of the Mutual Defense Alliance. An alliance that would have been impossible 3 cycles ago, Naira noted. The elder race's grip on power seemed absolute then. Power built on control was always destined to fail, Reeves commented. Real strength comes from adaptation and cooperation. The displays activated, showing the current state of galactic politics. Nearly 40% of known species had already pledged support to humanity's new initiative. Most were younger races, tired of council restrictions and inspired by humanity's stand. The Volari attempted to contact us again, a Zentran representative reported, their metallic scales gleaming. They offered significant technology exchanges if we would reject the human alliance. Let me guess, Santos smiled. Technology they previously claimed was too advanced to share. Precisely. The Zentran scales rippled with amusement. We declined. Naira's patterns shifted to show curiosity. What intrigues me is how humanity prepared for this moment. You didn't just build defenses, you created an entire alternative infrastructure for galactic cooperation. Because we never wanted to replace the Council's control with our own, Reeves explained. We wanted to eliminate the need for control entirely. The displays updated, showing new trade routes, defense partnerships, and technology exchanges flowing between alliance members. Where the Council had restricted interaction between younger species, humanity encouraged it. Where the elder races had hoarded knowledge, the alliance shared it. The Arxians are withdrawing from their outer territories, another representative reported. They claim it's a strategic realignment, but our intelligence suggests they're struggling to maintain control without Council support. Let them withdraw, Santos said. Our goal isn't to punish or pursue. It's to build something better. Naira watched the humans closely. Their response to discovering the conspiracy against them had defied all predictions. Instead of seeking revenge, they had chosen to protect. Instead of dominating, they had chosen to partner. There are rumors, she said carefully, that some elder races are considering military action. Let them consider it, Reeves replied calmly. Our defensive network now protects every alliance member. More importantly, we're teaching them to protect themselves. The displays showed training exercises where human forces worked alongside alien crews, sharing not just technology but techniques, strategies, and principles. The alliance wasn't creating dependence, it was fostering independence. The Council's latest session dissolved into chaos, the Zentran added. 3 more representatives have announced their intention to join us. Santos nodded. The old order is crumbling, but not because we destroyed it. It's failing because we showed the galaxy a better way. Naira's patterns shifted to show deep understanding. Humanity hadn't just survived the attempt to break them, they had transformed galactic society by simply being themselves. Their strength wasn't in their weapons or technology, but in their fundamental approach to existence: adapt, cooperate, protect, grow. The elder races feared you would dominate the galaxy within 3 centuries, she observed. Instead, you've revolutionized it in 3 months. Not alone, Santos corrected. Every member of this alliance brings unique strengths. We're not leading, we're catalyzing. The galaxy was ready for change. It just needed someone to prove it was possible. As the meeting continued, ships from dozens of species moved in coordinated patterns through the Sol system, conducting joint exercises that would have been forbidden under Council rule. The message was clear: the age of restriction was over. The time of collaboration had begun. And in distant corners of space, elder races watched with growing understanding. They had tried to prevent humanity's rise by force, only to discover that humanity's greatest power lay not in strength of arms, but in strength of principle. The galaxy wasn't falling under human control, it was learning from human example. The revolution they had feared had indeed come to pass, but not as conquest. Instead, it had come as an invitation, to grow, to share, to protect, to thrive. And one by one, even those who had once conspired against humanity were beginning to consider accepting it.